If you keep passing out due to cold exposure in the way of winter scenario, there are a few things you can do to increase your cold resistance. The first and most important thing to do is to make cold resistant equipment. When making armor, you can add different hides, furs and textiles to the armor to give them special effects. Most of these special effects are cold resistance or heat resistance on the legs and chest pieces, but the helmet, mask, boots and gloves don't give any temperature resistance buffs. So if you're just starting out, focus on the chest and legs in the beginning. When you're searching for cold resistance hides, the easiest to acquire at the start of the Way of Winter scenario is the reindeer hide. These little guys are all over the place in the grassy areas, and their hide gives you a +5 cold resistance buff when placed on the chest or legs, as well as a +10 weight capacity bonus. There are much better cold resistance buffs from other animal hides or furs later in the game, but just use reindeer hide for your starting armor set to make things faster. But anytime you do see a polar bear or seal, make sure to grab its hide for later. If you need even more cold resistance, you can make an item called Heatium if you pick up the Polar Exploration Mimetic. This item gives you a +10 cold resistance buff for 1 hour while in your inventory. You can make it at a crafting bench by first crafting a thermium and then using that with coal to craft a Heatium. But remember, these only last for 1 hour, so make sure you go do what you need to do quickly after you've crafted one of these. Another really simple thing you can do to keep warm is to carry a torch, which can be crafted at the survival tent. The torch does take up your melee weapon slot, so this won't be for everyone, but the torch can break open ice walls in some areas, which can be pretty useful if you find yourself needing it. The last thing I would recommend for early game temperature management is spike tomatoes or sunny ginger. These plants can be found all around the Way of Winter scenario and provide a small cold resistance buff. These temporary buffs are pretty helpful to use when traveling into colder areas or when it becomes nighttime. You can also make new food recipes with these which give even stronger cold resistance buffs. But the most important thing to take away from this guide is to make the cold resistance armor. The torch and food buffs will help, but the armor buff will stay with you until you switch to a new armor set. Also remember, there are hides which give you a heat resistance buff as well, which you will need later into the scenario. But that is it for this video. If you'd like to see more Once Human guides, check out the playlists in the description below, and I hope this helped you out. Thank you for watching.